Hi folks, Champagne Friday again. At my house, at home. Rather boring period season of the year, but champagne lights my life up. So what do I start with today? Well, I go to one of my favorite grower champagnes. Actually, from being a normal one to being a good one to being a really great one. It's a 4-star now in my new book, Champagne Magnum Opus. And it's very much thanks to the 3 kids, to Michel Genet, because the firm's name in Chouilly is Michel Genet. But it's Antoine, Agnès, and who was the third? That's the guessing game for next time, because I forgot, but that's not up to me. I can't forget things even if I'm a champagne expert. Antoine it is. Now I know. Okay, so I got it. Anyway, I never met them, but I've been writing to them, and I saw this huge difference in style when they took over. Gradually transformed the vineyards and the vinification into more biodynamical, ecological, like so many others. But the great thing with what they are doing is that the fingerprint of the wines that they are using and that they have been making, even Michel's been making, has been this extreme purity, this refined mineralic profile, not this huge maturity that you normally get from some biodynamical producers, not a hint of any wildness. And they kept it. They kept that style. And for me, that is exactly what we've been searching for. For a long time, I had a lot of criticism for the new wave because of that picking too late, having too much of the wild yeast, too low dosage, we're into levels that are 6 to 8 grams sugar, perfect for these kind of Blanc de Blancs that I have in front of me here. So it's the most recent lineup, and I haven't pre-tasted, so I just want to do it together with you. I have in the left glass this one. It's the refined version of the non-vintage, which is called Spirit, and it's the 19 based. When I say 19 base, that's the harvest, and then they're using reserve wines. But as the case is with a few more right now of really great grower champagnes, you can actually have slightly more of a reserve wine. So in this case, it's 55% 18 and 45 19. So if you look at my tasting notes in the tasting library, you might say, why does it say that it's a 19 base when there actually is slightly more from the 18? It's always the most recent, which is the base. The others are the reserve. That's how the logic works. The second one is the vintage 16, coming from 3 superb plots in Chouilly. And from the same 2 of the best 2, they are also using to Cuvée Prestige, which is called Auteur or Author. And in this case, it's been aged longer and just recently released the 2013 vintage. So, style-wise, what do I expect? Nothing huge, always extremely creamy, slightly similarities to Bonnaire and those kind of things that you got this stainless steel malolactic fermented Cremant champagnes, a little bit like Le Gras has, but with its own style, slightly smaller, but even more creamy. So in a way, it's one of the most refined and precise of all grower Blanc de Blancs. So let's see if that's the case in this lineup as well. I start with the Spirit. Yeah, one thing that I forgot to mention is popping up directly as the most strongest note. And what is that? It's something you find only in Cremant and in Chouilly, especially the vineyards that are bordering each other, which is probably the case here. It's wild strawberries, and wild strawberries and whipped cream, almost caramel notes, together with the more buttery notes and the typical Blanc de Blanc notes. Refined, precise, non-vintage? No. In a blind tasting, higher quality than that. first Friday sip. That's always something really gorgeous. Wow. As with most non-vintage champagnes, shorter, not as intense, a little bit polite, but stylish. Perfect, easy to drink, a great aperitif. The vintage, 16, 2.5 years more on average. Same notes, slightly more of the butteriness. The butteriness is becoming slightly burnt, slightly toasted. The caramel is harder, a little bit more minty. And of course, bigger. You can't start with this and go back, because everything you find here is stronger and an exaggeration of the first lovely start. So the right order. Nothing really new, but more intensity and fatter and richer within the style. Nothing cloying, nothing over fat or too much. Third, 13. 3 more years from 16. Quite similar vintage actually. I would say refined, pure vintages, both 16 and 13. Not great, quite short in aftertaste. More on the refined style on that side. I'm not always sure that I prefer Michel Genet style when the maturity is coming, because a little bit of the house style, the typical profile, the things that I absolutely adore, is lost to some new aromas, like very nice ones. This is more hazelnutty, more walnutty, a little bit of tropical fruits, a lot of dark notes like tar and olive, which you find normally in Blanc de Noirs. So it's mature tertiary notes that are coming up. More seriosity, more gastronomic, but less flirty on the nose. But folks, on the palate, wow, it was worth it. This extra dimension, this extra length, the seriosity. Here we are speaking something very similar to Cuvée Saint Vincent from Le Grand. So I will carry on while you're having a nice Friday. I will be seated here, and Björn Genet is, and we are not alone today, because today we have our fantastic photographer, Paul Allen. He's here as well, and we're going to do some blind tastings a little bit later. So until then, have a lovely Friday. Cheers.